The Washington Commanders didn't just add another weapon for Jayden Daniels. They may have unlocked the one piece that turns this offense into a nightmare. Because if Antonio Williams becomes the spark everyone thinks he can be, the NFC East is officially on notice.
That's been a big story early in Jayden Daniels' NFL career, Mina, that a lot has been asked of him. Do you think the Commanders have done enough this offseason to lighten the load?
I think they made steps in the right direction. I do think that Antonio Williams, who they drafted in the third round, is going to need to be impactful year one in a way you wouldn't necessarily want out of a third round receiver. But when you think about this group, with McLaurin as the true X, Antonio Williams fits in nicely alongside him, working primarily from the slot. He's not the biggest guy, but he's really good with the ball in his hands. And also he's very sudden and gets open quickly, which I think is a good pairing also with Daniels. One of the things I love about Jayden Daniels' game isn't the athleticism or the slot fades, it's the efficiency. He will get that ball out quick. He will find a receiver who uncovers quickly, and you can move the ball efficiently with him. And I think Williams is a really nice pairing with that skill set and should be helpful.
Yeah, I agree with your assessment on Williams. I think the fear I would have at receiver just in general is they just don't have the top end speed that some teams have. And so the explosiveness, things like that the offense may lack, I think there's got to be some concern with that. Look, I've said it before and I'll maintain it. I think Jayden Daniels is the closest thing to Lamar Jackson in the league in terms of his explosiveness and ability. And so, look, does it have to be perfect around him? No, it doesn't. I think he's proved that at times. I also think this, though. Expectations have changed. He had an outstanding rookie season, and once that happened, expectations changed. We saw what happened with C.J. Stroud. Expectations changed after a great rookie season, and things haven't really been the same. So I think there's a challenge here in that he's incredibly gifted. I think that there is enough around him, but it's not, look, the help that Baltimore eventually got Lamar. It's not that much help. I don't believe that that's what's surrounding him in Washington. And much like we were just talking about with Philadelphia, you have an extremely young, completely inexperienced play caller. And look, there could end up being some serious growing pains with that as well. So I do think you have to be careful with a young, really talented player as the expectations change and then all the things that are going on around him. Is it really setting him up to play at the level everyone's expecting him to play at?
Yeah. You know about them Buckeyes. When you saw us draft Sonny Styles, man, number 7th overall, what was your mindset, man, when we were able to get him at 7?
Well, leading up to that, when me, Jenks, and Smoot was on the stage, man, I think that was the consensus on being on stage, that we all wanted Sonny, but we wasn't sure how we were going to get to, him come falling to us at 7. So one of the things we were just like, all right, Jeremiah Love went to Arizona. We got a chance. And then when Carnell went to Tennessee, I think we all had a smile on our face like, all right, we got a real shot to get Sonny, depending on what the Giants did. And obviously they went with Arvell, and then, Kansas City jumped up. But we felt like Kansas City wasn't going to get a linebacker. So when Sonny fell to us, man, that was like the perfect player for the perfect organization at the time. I thought it was just wonderful.
And you played with his dad at Ohio State.
Yeah, and you played with his dad at the Rams.
Yeah, what was it? What was his dad like at Ohio State? Man, y'all had a hell of a talented football team back in Ohio State then.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel was on that team, who we had Luke Fickell was on that team, Lorenzo Style, Craig Powell, who went to Cleveland. You might remember that name, London.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember the first time running on the field as a freshman, redshirt freshman or sophomore, and Lorenzo said, "Don't come out here and give up no play."
That sounds just like Zoe, man. Yeah. That sounds just like him. But he dead serious too, like
dead serious. He had them red eyes.
And,
he did a wonderful job with them boys, man. If you talk about just pedigree and professionalism, Sonny and both Lorenzo, I've been knowing them since they were little. Obviously there was that Pick Central. Then, their journey to Notre Dame and Ohio State for Lorenzo. And then Sonny was a safety and then linebacker. But, man, Lorenzo, you know how he is, man. Lorenzo is he's one of those guys, man, that's just he spent a lot of time pouring into them boys. And you can tell just from I saw the interview y'all had with Sonny, man. He's a professional, man.
What, man?
Oh,
True
look,
professional.
they're just blowing us away, man. And we talked about numbers and everything with him. So the kid got a bright future in front of him. Now, I got to ask you this, especially with Coach Jones installing this new defense. How do you feel Sonny's style is going to fit in on this defense? Or do you feel like he going to get the green dot from the dope? Me and London was talking about how you think they're going to kind of slowly work him in to calling plays and doing his job?
Well, I think one thing, if you found a kid that could handle that level of being able to play calls and still without hampering his ability to do all his own role, I think Sonny would be the kid that you can put that responsibility on. When you talk about what he brings to the defense, fast, speed, just unbelievable athletic ability, sideline to sideline, and we talked about it. His ceiling is crazy. He only been playing playing linebacker for really 2 years. So his upside is incredible. In London, it was times last year we talked on our podcast that Bobby was great. He was a field general, but we felt like there were a couple of times that he was taking advantage in the pass game and gave up some plays, not just because he didn't know what was going on, just the nature of the speed.
Well, it's just sometimes the matchups just the
matchup ain't in your favor.
I mean, you know, it's just sometimes I don't care who you match a linebacker up against. Tyreek Hill is going to be probably
or Jameer Gibbs.
Exactly.
I think Sonny can take any matchup, man. I think this kid, he becomes a problem.
When you look at our draft as a whole, when you get a Antonio Williams in the third round, we add Sonny, obviously. We get Fat Man Allen, big back. We got Josephs as an edge rusher. We got the center out of Michigan State.
Glubin.
Yeah, and then we Caliac Manis. The
Caliac Mantis.
Yes. As a quarterback. What do you think about our draft
as a whole?
Yeah.
I thought again, Adam just knocked it out of the park, man. I just obviously we talk about Sonny being the piece we needed. But when you look at this Antonio Williams, you know, a guy at Clemson who's been productive since he was a freshman. He's not super big, but I think he was the second best route runner in the draft. I mean, I think Carnell was the first, but Antonio, if you watch his tape, he can work inside, he can work outside. I think in Washington, he would be a slot. He's 5'11", 190, but he one of those guys, man, ain't afraid to mix it up. He can catch, he's smart, he can run routes. And I think the interesting guy, and we talk about, you know, Joshua Joseph at Tennessee, who could rush, and he's athletic, kind of in the same frame as Sonny, 6'3", about 240. But the guy who threw me off, man, that's interesting, is Allen, the big back, man.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about a guy who was leading rusher at Penn State. He split time. So my first worry was, did he have a lot of, you know,
wear and tear,
but he split time. But then I was like, man, the production where he's leading rusher at Penn State, and the moment that he played against Ohio State, played against Michigan. So I think the kid can play. So we can't be shocked when we show him.
And when you think about, you mentioned Penn State, all the great running backs that have come out of Penn State, and I'm not just talking about Saquon Barkley.
You're talking about Kajana Carter. All of them.
I mean, you go all the way back.
Harris.
Yeah, Franco Harris.
Johnson.
Right, and he's the guy who's the all-time leading rusher, and he did it splitting time, sharing time in the backfield. 1,300 yards last season, and 15 touchdowns. That's crazy.
That's production, man. And when you have that type of production, I suspect that he can mix it up a little bit in the room. I think when our group text, somebody was like, you know, I think he can mix it up a little bit and give us some production in that room.
Well, I think he just brings a different element than the other guys got to offer. I think he's a one-on-one. This is my lane. I'm coming in to start my career off as the short yardage back, and wherever it may go, it goes.
And when you look at his last 3 games in the Big Ten, I think he like 181 at Michigan State. He had like 600 yards in 3 games, man. Like the boy was putting up numbers his last 3 games at Penn State.
What you think about this year's draft, man?
Those were a lot of the guys that I.
What you think about this year's draft? Our draft class this year.
It was phenomenal for as condensed as it was. It was only 6 picks. I thought that Adam Peters did a tremendous job. You know, you love the first round pick. With
Sonny style,
the defense wanting to get faster, which was a theme of the offseason. drafting a guy like Sonny Styles makes this defense more athletic. You add to the mix with, Leo Chanel and all the guys that they've added this offseason. The defense was a priority. Getting more athletic was a priority. They did that with that pick. Antonio Williams was one of my favorite picks of the draft, one of my favorite receivers in this draft class. There's actually a video on social media right now. I won't say it's viral, but a lot of people have seen it, of me screaming like a schoolgirl when the pick was made. Really excited about that selection because I never get what I want. As a fan, you have these draft crushes that you have every year, and
What did you like about Antonio Williams?
He's a dog, man.
Yeah.
He is a dog. And at Clemson, they asked him to do everything. Throw it, run it, catch it.
Yep.
He played inside. He played outside. You go watch that Georgia game from 2024. Nobody on that Clemson team wanted any smoke with Georgia except Antonio Williams. He was the one guy that was not afraid in that game. You watch him in 2025, and he did everything for that Clemson offense. When you look at a guy like Antonio Williams, and how he would fit here in Washington. One of the things we don't really have and haven't had for a while now is a guy that can catch it and run with it, right? A guy that can make something happen. Take a 5-yard pass, turn it into a 25-yard game, And that's why we love Chigakonkwo in that addition, because he's a guy that can catch it short, make something happen with it.
Right.
And Antonio Williams is another one of those guys. 3rd and 16, you're giving up, right? You throw a little tunnel screen to him, and next thing you know, you get an 18-yard gain and the drive's still alive. That's the kind of guy that Antonio Williams is.
I got to ask you this. What are you more excited about? No, I ain't going to say more excited about. Tell me how you feel about us going back to the original burgundy and gold, and tell me how you feel about the black jerseys as a fan, from a fan perspective.
Oh, my God. Smoke, Fletch, I'm telling you, I'm a purist, right? So the fan in me was dying for those uniforms to come back because there were a lot of things that, I didn't necessarily love, but I understood why they had to happen. Right. But the jerseys wasn't one of them. They didn't have to go away when they went away. That wasn't something that had to happen. And so it felt like they made a wrong right. They corrected a mistake that should have never happened. But the Hellraisers, oh my God. So I didn't think they would turn out as good as they did.
Yeah, they are fresh.
Yes. I didn't.
No, they're dope. They're dope.
They're so clean. Those are crispy. I didn't think they would turn out as good as they did. I was very skeptical on the logo because we had seen the logo prior to it being released, and I was like, I don't know how that's gonna look on the helmet, like what they gonna do with it. And then when they dropped the release video and you see it for the first time, I went, oh, that's clean. And then you see all of it together, and I said, oh, man, I'm not a jersey guy.
It's 6th round.
He will be a starter within 2 years and a Pro Bowler within 3. I'm telling you, they got a steal right there. All he got to do is stay healthy. He's a baller. He ran a 4.4 too.
I'm going to go with Fat Man Allen.
Oh, all right.
I'm going with Fat Man.
You just like calling that man Fat Man.
Fat Man.
All right.
I'm going to be on the call like that.
I got you.
Listen, to produce like he produced at Penn State,
sharing the
back, going for over 1,300s, 15 touchdowns in this past season.
Yeah.
He's going to get a lot of short yardage carries, a lot of carries in the red area. I'm going to go him being really, really underrated. And we got him in the 6th round.
I want to be non-biased in this because Sonny Style was about to roll off of my tongue. All right?
Yeah.
But at the middle linebacker, he's going to have high volume of tackles. At his height and his capability, he's going to turn the ball over 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
And 100-plus tackles and 4 turnovers could get you Defensive Player of the Year. All right?
Absolutely.
All right, think about this. Arvell Reese. They not even sure what the plan is. I don't know if he's going to be a stand-up guy. He's going to be an edge rusher. I would say David Bailey has a chance to get defensive player. Him or Bain. Because I don't know if you seen Bain when he got drafted.
Ooh, smoke coming off his head.
I'm talking about fire.
Steam.
And we know when players feel like that coming into the draft, this dude gonna be ready because he feel disrespected. He will, and then he landed up in a perfect place in Tampa Bay. Got Big Villa in the middle. They're gonna be taking up them double teams. Him coming off that edge, he could easily win defensive player.
I think it's gonna come down to 2 people. I love Sonny as one of the picks, and not biased, but as you mentioned, when you have those measurables, the skill set, the versatility, and in this defense where he's going to be blitzing some, he's going to be covering a lot, he's going to be doing a lot of different things.
A lot of stuff that Van Ginkel was doing in Minnesota.
Have opportunities to make plays on the ball.
Yeah.
So he's going to be able to stuff the stat sheet, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, mic check 1 to 2, -1, -2. Game over for this video, folks. Smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to stay in the huddle for more. This is NFL Madness, bringing the heat and signing out.